Good morning, Phil. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present today. So my name's Tony Scott. I'm the founding CEO and CIO of a company called NeuralRays AI. Now today to talk about data science and using it to extend our aspirations in the engineering and construction industry into the whole life asset utilization, how we can look at different revenue models and how we can help the C-suite engage in digital transformation. Quick introduction to me. I've worked the last 10 years in Arup, Atkins, Bureau Happold, and WSP. In WSP, where I was the CIO, I was the digital lead for the design consultant partnership with Atkins and Mott MacDonald also. I've worked with the Association for Consultancy Engineering for a number of years now, the ACE, and a founding member of its digital transformation group and chaired the organizing committee for its first ever CIO conference. Interviewed last year by BIM Plus magazine. It's all about the data. It's a subject close to my heart. I make the point in the interview, there's a link there, that I'm not a BIM specialist, but I've worked with BIM specialists, and that's really applies now to my whole company, my AI company. So NeuralRays AI, we've been going for 2 years now. We started in October 2018, and we were inspired by the principles of ethical AI, and our mantra is to create solutions for a better world. We do AI, but we do full stack software development as well. We help other organizations establish their own digital centers of excellence, and we do that on a build, operate, and transfer basis. We are cross-sector deliberately. We apply data science across sectors, so we're not just engineering and construction. We have our own electric vehicle charging platform we're working on. We work with defense companies, retail companies, healthcare pharma companies, and we're heavily involved in fintech developments as well. Founded in London, our Center of Excellence is in Chennai in India. We have presence in the Middle East through a joint venture. We have NeuralRays AI Europe based in Munich, and we're looking, we hope, perhaps next year to expand into the US as well. We have a group structure where NeuralRays AI is our services business, our client engagement business based in those locations. We have a labs business as well, where we're doing product development, and which is where our research and development occurs. So we have some exciting clients, including VST Enterprises with its vCode and vPlatform technology, which is at the heart of the vHealth Passport, which is one of the ways we hoping to get society back to normal through the pandemic. But we are the global developers for the vCode platform. On our labs business, we have a number of products we're developing, our risk management, mitigation management platform, Riskwell, our Bon Voltage, our electric vehicle charging platform, and a really exciting proposition for the super yacht industry called Yachtbook. And we have a number of other products being developed there as well. We're based in 1 Canada Square, Canary Wharf in London. We're the newest member of the tech community, or Level 39. It's a really exciting community to be part of, a lot of other startups and scale-up businesses. So digital transformation. I always start one of my talks on digital transformation with my definition of digital. And here I really just want to challenge the people who think that digital is something we've been doing forever in IT, and also marketing people who might just overuse the term. And really, what do we mean by digital? And to me, it's about using innovative and emerging technology to create outcomes, human and business outcomes that had previously been considered impossible, or even better still, never before imagined. And this definition, I really try and put the bar high. If you're going to talk about digital innovation or digital transformation or digital workplace or digital twin, you have to satisfy this definition. And that's a definition we use within my company. There's a blog post I did on that 2 years ago, if anyone would like to read that in a lot more detail. Then applying that principle to an organization. Digital transformation then is about using innovative technology across all areas of the enterprise, all areas of the business. And most importantly, it fundamentally changes how it operates internally, but most importantly, how it delivers value to its clients. So it's a new business model, but new ways of working, of dealing with people. And it's amazing what's happened on the digital workplace transformation side due to coronavirus and how quickly that transformation has occurred. But it's much bigger and broader than that. But that's a classic example. And I hope it really has raised the case that digital transformation is possible in a big way, and it can happen quickly, as we've seen throughout 2020. At the heart of digital transformation is cultural change. It's about cultural behavioral changes. It's about being experimental in everything an organization does. It's about treating failure as a learning opportunity. Yes, you need to succeed more than you fail, but the traditional way of punishing failure, actually, let people try things quickly. Don't over-engineer solutions. Try things quickly, get real-world feedback from that, and then pivot or stop the thing or carry on. Whatever the learning tells you is the right thing to do. And this is a cultural behavioral change that has to be supported from the top of an organization all the way down. It's about data, which is really close to my heart in NeuralRays AI. It's about using data and creating the digital enterprise and the digital asset. If it were a hospital, as an example, you should be able to marry the patient record system with the staff rostering system, with the building management system, with IoT tracking of all the movable parts of the hospital, with the external demographics and climate and weather data and transportation data, and just get that optimal digital virtuous circle of the operations of that hospital. That's just one example. Apply that to every type of building, every type of asset. That's really what we're looking at doing with data science. So in NeuralRays AI, we're really keen to work with construction companies, with engineering companies, and to help them use data science, AI, machine learning to open new doors for themselves, for their businesses, and to give them that access to that wider asset lifecycle, to help them in their consulting advisory business, to help them come up with new ways of consulting around asset longevity, perhaps, or extending the lifetime of assets, or repurposing. And I can only imagine what's happening this year and the years to come. There's going to be a lot of asset repurposing happening in city centers, for example, as this new normal gets established. And the key here is to use data to base that on. So data to lead to evidence-based decision making is really key. I like this picture because it has the old world Royal Naval College in the foreground, which has been repurposed into Greenwich University. And we have the new build of Canary Wharf where our office is there in the background. But it's really using evidence-based decision-making from the beginning of a design stage through construction into that whole life piece. So right from the beginning of a design, you're thinking of those future uses of the asset and who ultimately will use it. The ultimate client is the consumer, it is the patient, the student, the resident, or whoever it may be, the shopper of that asset, but also thinking through the company's logo is going to be on that and what revenue model will they have to actually monetize that asset in the future. And a lot of those considerations currently are not made at that design stage up front because there are too many people in that whole supply chain. And it's really using data right from the outset for engineering companies to have that role right throughout that full asset life cycle, to actually getting that performance data of the asset so it could be optimized in its use throughout its whole lifetime and not passing the responsibility for that over to someone else. So it is about new revenue models, digital transformation, value-based pricing, success-based pricing. These are things we in NeuralRays are working on it, and just our standard way of working with clients. You know, we're involved in digital twins on the retail side, but digital products and digital platforms as well, and newer forms of revenue models. We've got linear scaling, we've got geometric scaling, we've got exponential scaling models as well, which is the platform opportunity there as well. And it's helping engineering companies who've been, you know, traditionally doing time-based revenue through consulting engagements only, but to open that door for them to come up with newer revenue models through the development of digital products and digital platforms, and also digital twins. So for me, a digital transformation journey, yes, it might have a start. I often tell organizations who are about to begin on that journey, but there's no destination. You're not going to get somewhere and say, we're now digitally transformed, because by then the world will have changed again. So yes, the digital transformation journey might have a start, but you really need to understand that it's a process of continuous reinvention. So in terms of business models, I've used this slide many a time, and apologies for people who've seen me present this before. Avoid having your own Kodak moment. Kodak defined itself in the 1990s as a company that produced film for cameras. If you'd ask senior business leadership, what do you do? We're the best at producing film for cameras. And by that, they missed the whole opportunity around digital photography. They missed the fact that marketing people had the concept of the Kodak moment, which was capturing a memory for life. And therefore, they missed the being outcomes focused. And ask yourself with your own organization, you know, if someone comes up with a new way of working, a new revenue model, and you're a consulting engineering company, don't, you know, if you're asked, what do we do? Well, we sell engineers by time. That's going to close the door yourself for actually newer business models. And so don't have your own Kodak moment. Keep that door open. And by focusing on outcomes only, you can actually free yourself up not to be tied to only one particular way of achieving those outcomes and defining your business by that method of achieving those outcomes. And Blockbuster, Encyclopedia Britannica, there are many, many more. So in this slide, I look at the scale of from engineering costs to construction costs to the building maintenance operating costs, and sort of increasing 10 by 10 by 10. That's not realistic, but it's just there to prove a point. The actual business operating costs, again, 10 times greater. And then actually you would hope the revenue made from that asset in its lifetime would be 10 times greater again. And yeah, my last 10 years have been in consulting engineering companies. Where do they live mostly? Well, it's that beginning bit, isn't it? That they hand designs off to be constructed. They might also get involved on the construction side, client side, doing project management, but that is basically their world. And the argument we've been making through digital transformation is that really need to extend their mindset, their view, their aspiration into that middle bit. It's that whole asset lifecycle piece. Work with the facilities managers, stay part of the story when it goes actually for the building to be occupied, and actually be the ones actually taking that data through the whole lifetime of the asset and helping achieve that £1,000 and that £10,000, or why not actually take a percentage cut of that whole building lifetime revenue as well. So there's a case to be made by using digital technology for engineering companies to move beyond that £1, actually to play a role through that whole piece. Now, I was asked to talk about the C-suite and how we can help digital transformation there. I've been a CIO myself. I know the traditional model where CIOs report to the CFO, they're a cost center, but I really think CIOs or someone around that table needs to be the digital leader, understanding the impact of technology on the business model. And I do believe that should be the CIO. And so we need a new breed of CIOs. Many of these exist already, but of course the challenge there is the other people around that table, and are they going to invite those CIOs to have a seat there? I think CIOs, the properly business-minded CIOs, should adopt this adaptive IT philosophy. And in adaptive IT, the whole concept is that you focus relentlessly your priority as your market differentiators. So where can we use digital to focus on our USP, our market differentiators as an organization? And then this is the bit that requires courage. Dare to be adequate with everything else. You do not have to be the best at everything. Okay, and it's to find those market differentiators, and that's really how you as a company will stand out from the crowd. Sadly, this is a couple of years old now. Only 23% of CIOs actually have a seat at that table. I hope through the way digital transformation has been proved through the pandemic, that actually that number is a lot higher today and is going to become a lot higher in the future. And I was interviewed on this only last week. There's a link to the bottom if anyone would like to read a bit more on that interview. So just a quick rattle through some case studies. I just tried to pick 3 case studies that are very different that show the sort of AI work we're engaged in NeuralRays AI. So here's a construction vehicle manufacturer. We're doing real-time defect detection on the production line using machine vision, everything from scratches to surface defects to bolts not being tightened properly to pipes that are touching that shouldn't be touching. Missing parts, weld spatters, and also the next stage is to look at worker safety as well. Are people wearing the helmets? Are they climbing ladders correctly, and what have you? We're working with a oil exploration company that drills for oil in the desert, but also in the North Sea. And we've been looking at oil well reports from some of these over 50 years old, typewritten reports, and getting insight out of those using natural language processing, but also image processing, because a lot of those reports have old photographs attached to them as well. And being able to optimize operations using all of that historic data right through to recent data and pulling that together too, using AI, but in this case, natural language processing. Also working with retailers. So this is the digital twin example I mentioned earlier, but how do we optimize operations of a retailer? So category management, product management, shelf layout. How do we do a refit? How do we do a new store layout? Etc. How do we bring in demographic data to make sure they're stocking the right stock for that and for that location, and the layout where the products are placed in the store to actually increase the returns of that particular store. It involves customer demography. We do store simulations. We can run hundreds of thousands of permutations of those simulations as well to get the absolute optimal solution. And it can come right down to shelf inventory management as well. So finally, NeuralRays AI, we can help in a lot of areas, but I always say, just give us your data and we will find insight in that data. Give us a problem you want to find and we will find, we will solve that problem, but also we'll find insight in that data that you're probably not even aware of. We do traditional IT data strategy consulting. We do software development work. If you have an idea yourself that you're struggling to bring to market, we'd love to work with you through our labs business. And then there may even be a partnering opportunity. If you'd like us to help you build your own center of excellence, that's something we can do as well. And we do digital transformation consulting. If anyone would like this presentation in the 45-minute version rather than the rush 15-minute version, I'd love to represent it to you and your colleagues as well. And then the last thing is an offer to the audience. We have our first product coming to market in Q1 of 2021. It's our risk management software platform called Riskwell. It's all about improved decision making, customized dashboards, flexible report engines, collaborative working spaces for mitigation planning for all people in the organization. We're trying to disrupt the whole risk management business, and it's for organizations involved in major portfolios, programs, and projects, big infrastructure projects, but whatever. And this is a fantastic, exciting platform. We're open to people to come on board now for beta testers, potential early adopters. Companies would like to work with us on a reseller basis, or any consultants who would like to get up to speed on this platform before it hits the market next year. My email address is there, and I'd love to hear from you. So on that note, I thank you very much for your time. Again, there's my email address, and I would love to hear from you. Phil, thanks very much.